What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Madden. I just came in to talk about the Lakers and the game. It kind of worked out the same way I assumed it would. As I said, without Clark and Adams, it's just not a. They don't got the bodies. You know what I mean? They just don't. They can't stop the Lakers from getting to the rim, which who didn't see that coming. Once you take, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be in foul trouble in 3 seconds if they keep him on the floor. He can't contest that many shots. You know, the law of numbers says that after a while he's going to get called for a foul. It's just a matter of time because you're not going to stay perfectly vertical on every challenge. And when you're dealing with LeBron James, you're dealing with Anthony Davis, you're dealing with Austin Reeves, you're dealing with Rui Hachimura, you're dealing with D'Lo. These guys are more than just good. They're crafty, they're smart. And when you're dealing with these guys, it's like so now you're gonna have to put more people in the paint. And now you're dealing with that's not really what the Memphis Grizzlies do. As I said before, I didn't think Ja Morant was going to make that big of a difference, whether he played or not, because you're not going to stop Ja Morant. Ja Morant's going to get as much as he can, but he's not. The other guys are three-point shooters, and as I told you guys before, the Lakers have perimeter defense. So it's not like they're going to be stepping in the threes a lot. You know, they're going to have to either drive and penetrate and kick, and the only one who can really do that is Ja. And so, yes, the Memphis Grizzlies are good without Ja, but that's on quick turnarounds during the regular season. It's another thing entirely for a team to scout you, play you, and because they have a lot of people don't know this about NBA. In the NBA, they have a scout sheet. Right? Meaning they have a thing that they say about every single player. And you're supposed to learn that scout sheet, and you learn the quirks, the things that the player is this percentage at this on the left corner, he's this percentage at this part of the floor, this part of the floor. Best part of the place to get him is probably force him to this part of the court, because that's where he struggles the most. He doesn't like to go left. He does that. In high school he ate cheese sandwich. Like, this is crazy detailed reports. So when you get to the NBA, it almost forces you to have no weaknesses, because if you have a weakness, you're going to either be a supporting player or you won't make it. Right? You can't have glaring weaknesses that you cannot overcome. People who can't play defense generally never learn to play defense, but they can still come in and give you good shooting. People who can't shoot but are big, they understand he can't shoot, but we can use him to rebound and play and protect the rim. You become a spot supporting player. You can't be an all-star. You can't be a superstar with huge glaring weaknesses that you can't fix. Now, sometimes they can build a team around you and around those divisions, but you're never gonna win a championship with a guy like a Luka or a James Harden or a Trae Young. I mean, you're just not gonna win a championship with a player like that. When you have such a huge glaring weakness in your game, and the team is just there. The only person I saw that really got away with that, and he even had to get marginally better, you know what I'm saying, as a player, as a defender, was Steph Curry. Steph Curry was the only player that I saw, but like I said, Steph became serviceable. Right? James Harden even became serviceable, but he just was he can't. When he gives it on defense, he takes away what he gives on offense. Right? So it's like Harden just made a decision that his offense was more important than his defense. And when that happens, trust me, you're going to be in trouble. But regardless, that being said, I think the thing that we have to do as fans is understand that. And secondly, in a 7-game series, if you have a weakness, it is going to be exploited and exploited and exploited. And one of the biggest things about the Memphis Grizzlies is, Triple J can shoot, but he's not a consistent three-point shooter, right? Like, he's not a person that's going to jack up 7-8 threes a night. He's a person that jack up 2 to 3. If he makes 1 out of the 3, he'll keep going. If he misses all 3, he'll stop. That's just how Jaren Jackson Jr. plays. The rest of the team, so you relying heavily on him, his ability to play defense and stretch out the defense. I mean, the other team's defense. Bane is more. He's not a shoot off the dribble guy. He's more of a catch and shoot guy. But he has a body that's like that. He can bang and get inside, but he's not a person that's going to take you off the dribble. And if you're in good guarding position, he's really not going to be able to go over top of you. So Bane is very limited in that regard. They had Clark, who was good at rolling to the rim. So when Ja wasn't there, they could still kind of get it to him and Adams in the post, or they could clean up on the rebounding. Offensive rebounding and kind of get the ball back in there, but they don't have that. And Triple J is not really a offensive rebounder. He's more of a defensive rebounder. Offense, he's more of a move around, try to stretch defense. He's generally not even around the rim on offense most of the time. And now it's going to force him to do something he's not comfortable doing, which is staying in the paint the entire time, protecting the rim. And it was better when he had somebody that allowed him to roam. You know what I mean? He could get a shot on the outside, and if he could get a shot on the outside, he can move around and then kind of come back around and get rebounds, because the attention goes to Adams. But do I think it's going to be a sweep? No. I think the Memphis Grizzlies might even get the next game. I mean, I think it's a good possibility they'll get the next game. But it's going to be hard to think that they're going to win 3 games in LA. Because as the series progresses, they're not going to. Generally, the team that makes the adjustment is the team that does better. And the Grizzlies, I don't think they just got bad luck of the draw that they ended up playing the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? If the Clippers, I think if they ended up playing the Warriors, they would have been all right. The Warriors are more of a perimeter team. They don't punish you inside. The Lakers do, and the sad part about it is the Lakers and Grizzlies are only 2 teams that really do that. You know what I'm saying? They're really the only 2 teams that do that, and it's just bad luck that they end up playing each other. Because I don't think Memphis would have the same problems they have without Clark and Adams if they weren't playing the Lakers. It's just the Lakers are the problem, not the Memphis Grizzlies. It's just a bad matchup for them. And the funny thing about it is it would have been a bad matchup for the Lakers had they had Adams and Clark. But without him, and then if they lose Ja Morant, it'll be a sweep. It'll just be a sweep because they ain't got nobody who can penetrate if Ja Morant is out. Right? Ja Morant is the only one that's going to be able to break down the defense and get either kick or get to the rim or get to the foul line. That's just Ja. He's the only one that can do that they have on their team that's good against elite defense like the Lakers. He's the only one that's going to be able to do that. So you take him out, that's just a sweep. The Denver Nuggets, I mean, they can't. If they try to run with the Lakers is one of the top fast-paced teams in the league. If they try to run with the Lakers are gonna blow them off the court. If they try to pass around the Lakers, they're gonna get blown off the court. Because Jokic is just too limited as a big man defensively, and he's too limited as a shooter. You know what I'm saying? He could be. It's the same thing with him and Jaren Jackson Jr. Yes, he can make a shot every now and again, but when you force him to shoot all the time, and yes, he's a big body, and you get it to him in the post, and he can make some noise, but he can only do that for spells. He's not Joel Embiid. He's not somebody who can get it out on the wing and take 2 dribbles and shoot over top of somebody. He's just somebody who can kind of back you down, and as soon as someone double teams, you got to pass out of the double team, and you're gonna have to rely on those players to get it. But the Lakers switch so well that even when they double team down, they're gonna switch over to their best shooters, and then they're gonna force their worst shooter to make the shot. And I just don't think the Denver Nuggets got the shooters to do that. Because they're just going to rotate the MPJ and rotate to Murray, and it's going to force the Highland they lost. And those other 3, Aaron Gordon can't shoot. So it's like, okay, we're just going to roll and force Aaron Gordon to beat us from the perimeter. And I'm not saying Aaron Gordon is not a talented player, but you can't expect him to just be taking people off the dribble and shooting over top of them. And it's going to be real hard to get to the rim with Anthony Davis there, especially if that your cure for Jokic is to throw it in the post. If you try to throw it in the post on Jokic, you're going to be screwed. So in the end, what do you got? You to me, it's just a hodgepodge of I don't know what type of game you're gonna get from the Denver Nuggets. But I know one thing: the Lakers are probably gonna end up in the Western Conference Finals. And I said that. I don't think it would have made much difference if they would have played the Kings. I think they would have ended up in the finals. Then the Kings beat the Warriors because the Warriors have no defense. And I told people that it's gonna be like one. You're gonna look at my last video. I said the score's gonna be like 130 something because they don't play no defense. Neither one of them play defense. So it's the best matchup for the Kings to play the Warriors, even though I think the Warriors will win. Why? Because as adjustments come in, and this is what people don't understand about playoff experience. They think playoff experience means nothing. Oh, it's just a term that is used. No, playoff experience means, like Austin Reeves, right? Austin Reeves will have a scouting report out on him for the next game, meaning they're gonna say they're gonna put somebody on Austin Reeves and they're gonna say, make Austin Reeves do this, that, and the third. Don't go for the pump fake. Stay down. Make him beat you off the dribble. Just stay down. And they're gonna say that about Austin Reeves. So next game, Austin Reeves is gonna have to figure out a way to get around that. Depending on how good he is, he'll either be able to get around it or he won't. But if he isn't, then he'll train and he'll figure out a way to get better. And then the third game, he'll either beat it. So that's one type of defense that he's had to see in the playoffs. That if he plays next year, they're gonna say if he has a game, and they're gonna be like, okay, make him do this. He's already had that experience, so he knows how to do that. So that's something that Austin Reeves doesn't have, that next year, as a person who played in the playoffs and has the experience, will have, right? Because when you play in the playoffs, they force you to kill the weakness. So it's very important to have a guy who's used to playing in playoff basketball. The Sacramento Kings don't have anybody like that. They just have a bunch of players who are good regular season players. But when you get into an actual teeth of the thing, you think Draymond Green and Steve Kerr are not going to have a game plan for De'Aaron Fox next? They came in this game and they focused their iron on stopping Sabonis, and they did. But in doing so, they allowed De'Aaron Fox and the rest of the team to thrive and eat. So now they're going to ease off the pressure on Sabonis, and they're going to put more focus on stopping De'Aaron Fox from doing what he does. Now it's going to be upon the rest of the team to step up and beat the Monks, the Barnes. Those guys are going to have to play. Barnes has playoff experience, so he already knows his weaknesses that they're going to try to exploit. But Monk hasn't. He has no experience in that regard, and they're going to force him to adapt. And I already know what they're going to do, Malik Monk. They're going to put somebody. They're going to have somebody on him, and the guys are just going to mark him, and he's going to have to learn to play with the ball in his hand. And still they're going to have to start running the offense through Malik Monk, or they're going to lose. If they try to go through De'Aaron Fox, De'Aaron Fox is not going to be able to have the same game he had in the first game and the second game. I think the Warriors will win, and then it will be based on the adjustment in the third game, how they'll do. And that's why you see series tend to go back and forth. The players that didn't play well tend to play well because in the first games tend to play well in the second game because scouting report is generally focused on those players. But once other players come alive, then they focus. Like you can tell in the Lakers game, their focus was just stop LeBron. Right? The Grizzlies' mindset was make sure LeBron doesn't go on. But you cannot do that against LeBron. That's why people hate playing LeBron in a 7-game series. Because LeBron is not just a willing passer, he is a grateful passer. Like he's happy when he can pass it. So you're playing into his wheelhouse. So next game, what are they gonna do? They're gonna focus on stopping everybody else, and they're gonna say LeBron beat us. And at the beginning of the game, LeBron's going to struggle because he's going to try to figure out what they're doing. Once he figures out what they're doing, and LeBron's going to take over the game, and depending on what time he takes over the game, the Lakers will win or lose. But if Ja Morant is not in on offense, then I don't think that the Memphis Grizzlies will have much offense to speak of. So later on in the game, when they do that, I think when LeBron figures out, okay, they're just trying to force me to beat them, they're not going to have a big enough lead for LeBron and AD not to just chew it down. And then they're going to try to switch when the other team guys start winning. They're going to try to switch and start playing them again. I mean, focusing on LeBron again, and LeBron's going to start picking, and everybody else is going to come alive. And this is the problem when you're playing in a 7-game series against LeBron. LeBron is such a multifaceted, diverse player that it's hard to stop him from doing anything that he wants to do. It's kind of like KD. Like KD's problem last night was he was just not aggressive enough, and that's what happens with KD a lot. Is when they played the Clippers, when he was on the Warriors, he's like, I just got to be more aggressive. You know what I mean? And do I think he'll switch to Clippers? Oh yeah. I mean, the Clippers are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they're so limited. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why the Lakers climbed back into that game against them, and it's a reason why the Suns climbed back in the game on a day that they were not particularly good shooting. Chris Paul was not good last night. Devin Booker was amazing defensively, but offensively, he kind of took a backseat to KD, and KD was running offense beautifully. He was passing. KD had a beautiful game last night, but just as a fully diverse, multifaceted player. Just amazing how well KD played. That wasn't on KD, but two, the Suns are figuring it out. And yes, it's great that KD can show what he can do, controlling the ball. But if Chris Paul is not going to be controlling the ball, then you kind of take away his purpose. What is he there for? You know what I mean? Defensively, he is just not the player he used to be, and offensively, he has to have the ball in his hand to really show what he can do. But it's like Chris Paul is taking way too much of a back seat so he really only controls the ball when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are not in the game, and that's just very limited for a guy like CP3. Like that's disrespectful. Like you gotta give him the ball. It's like I love Kevin Durant, but he is not the point guard that Chris Paul is. It's like just get out of the way. It's like Jason Kidd for the Mavericks. You don't understand what Jason Kidd is doing, so you don't understand how good a player he is. Same thing with Chris Paul. You don't understand what Chris Paul is doing. He's trying to get them in 3-second violations. He's trying to get the guy to go for these screens and these pick and rolls, and you know what I'm saying, and handoffs. He's trying to get these guys to pay attention to these things so that he can get his guys the ball. But when you have a guy like KD, who all the attention is focused on him immediately, everybody crashes in. Now you're looking around, you got 4 or 5 guys who are open, and it's easier for Kevin Durant to get the ball to him. But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the best spot for them. They're just migrating to the open spots of the defense. But they may not be great in those spots, right? If the defense migrates me to the corner, I may be terrible shooting a corner three. But Chris Paul is more of a guy who's going to orchestrate the offense and get everybody to their spots. Devin Booker's going to be to his spot. He's going to be to his spot, and they're going to move in the last minute, and everybody's going to get to their spots. And that's what a great point guard does that most people don't understand. And that's why I love Bronny James so much, because he's so good at doing that. He's so good at taking his time, making sure all his players get to his spot, and then he'll run the play. And that's just, as a point guard, I have so much respect for point guards that can do that. You know what I'm saying? They are so good at doing that. The better point guards, it's magical. You know what I'm saying? How well they do it, and Chris Paul is the best at it. I would say Chris Paul is better than LeBron at it. Because he's always had to do it. LeBron had to learn to do it, but Chris Paul has always had to do it. And so I would make the argument he's better than LeBron at it. Not by a lot, but he's better than LeBron at doing it. because he's not better because LeBron has so many such a size advantage, so he can see over the defense. He has, he can pass from the post. So it's hard to compare them. But talking about as a pure point guard, Chris Paul is better at it. But they got to do something with what they're doing. I love KD, and I understand you got a new toy, shiny new toy, you want to play with it. But it's nowhere in the world you can ask that of KD. You know what I'm saying? He's just getting on the team. He doesn't know people's spot. He doesn't know where people want the ball. He's just going to try to do his best to keep everybody involved. And he did a great job of that. But in the end, they end up losing because you can't ask a guy who's guarding Kawhi Leonard on the defensive side, coming back, giving Kawhi Leonard 30 on the other side, and also ask him to run the offense through him too. It's like, you know what I'm saying? As good as LeBron, KD are in these situations, sometimes that's why LeBron at the end just start passing the ball to Austin Reeves. Like, I'll just stand out here because people don't understand how hard it is and how taxing it is to ask that guy to sit there and dribble and penetrate and move and keep going around screens. And it's hard to ask that guy to do that and then go back and guard the number one player on defense. It's just not fair to ask him to do that. And I think KD will come around the second game. I think the Suns will come around. KD don't have to come around. He played a great game. Defensively, I think they're not gonna keep letting them get Kevin Durant. I mean, they got to do a better job. You can't. I mean, obviously, KD wants to do it. He wants to match up, and for the most part, they just switched off of him anyways. They just kind of threw a screen at him, But he has to get over those screens if he's going to be on Kawhi, because Kawhi's going to get over that screen. And once Kawhi gets to the mid range, you're done. He's just too good. He's either going to end up with a foul or he's going to end up with a shot. And the shot 9-10 times going in. So it's like, pick your poison with Kawhi. And Kawhi was kind of started running the offense. He started running the offense in the second half for the Clippers. Now, he's nowhere near LeBron and KD at doing that. But he did a serviceable job. Westbrook kind of fell apart, but the thing that I said when he was on the Lakers, one thing about Russell Westbrook is what he has, he's going to give you. That's Russell Westbrook. If he has it, he's going to give it to you. He may not give you the 29 points every game. He may not give you the 14 assists every game, but he will give you some plays that only Russell Westbrook can make, and that's just who Russell Westbrook is. You sit there and you might slap your head 3 or 4 times, and then you'll turn around and just tip your hat to the guy, because what he does is so unmatched. It's so hard to quantify how important it is. I mean, he literally won the game for them last night just off of his effort plays, the grit, the fight. They just beat the Suns at home without PG. I mean, that is crazy. And you know what the media is going to do? They're not going to talk about Russell Westbrook. They're going to talk about the winning plays he made. They're going to talk about the bad plays he made. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's seeing all the rebounds he kept getting. I mean, to be that size and get the pivotal rebound that guy is getting is crazy. It's like, how is he doing that? It's like he's so good at judging when that thing is going to hit the rim and just last minute just running and grabbing it. And you be like, and you tell they're like, where did he even come from? But that's I mean, we didn't talk about the problem he was giving Devin Booker on defense. And this is what I was saying when you were talking about him. This whole narrative that Russell Westbrook is not a great defender is crazy. Russell Westbrook is a great defender. And I don't know where that narrative started, but that's what the media does. The media talks to the uninitiated and the people that don't know, and they'll push a narrative that they know is not true, but there's no way for a person who doesn't understand to disprove it. But Russell Westbrook was magnificent in that game. Offensively, not so much. But when he gives you so much in other places, how can you not see his value? I mean, idiots like Skip Bayless are saying, Oh, the worst thing that happened to the Clippers was that. What do you think happens if Russell Westbrook wasn't on the Clippers last night? Just a true analysis. Just take Russell Westbrook off the Clippers last night. What do you think happens? You think they're winning that game? No, they're not winning that game. So here's your question. The media, you gonna listen to the media or you gonna listen to your eyes? And too often people listen to the media. Russell Westbrook, he's just terrible. It's like the guy has 4 or 5 turnovers, but he had like 20 plays where he makes great plays. Not even 20, it's probably close to 40 great plays in which he makes that only he can make. So you'll live with the 4 or 5 turnovers. Yes, sometimes you gotta be like, okay, get Russ out. He's in his head right now. He's in his head right now. He's trying to prove something. Get him out. Let him calm down. You know what I'm saying? And bring him back in when he calms down a little bit. Yes, you have to do that to Russ from time to time because he only plays one way. But Russ is going to make it. When Patrick Beverly said when he playing Russell Westbrook, it's an easy out. I mean, come on. Ain't nobody thinking that. Ain't nobody looking at Russell Westbrook saying that's an easy out. You don't think Devin Booker went to that game thinking, oh snap. Even if he did go start the game thinking it was a day off, I guarantee you halfway through he wasn't thinking it was a day off. Russell Westbrook is a pest. And Russell Westbrook swiped him 3 or 4 times last night. The rebounds he was coming in out of nowhere. It's like Devin Booker, you gotta box him out. Devin Booker, everybody ball watching. Russell Westbrook is going to the ball. While y'all ball watching, I'm going to it. And that is the difference in the game. You know what I mean? Russell Westbrook was the difference. The Suns didn't have a guy giving that effort. They didn't have a guy making those plays. And guess what? That was the difference in the reason why the Clippers won and the Suns lost. Because of Russell Westbrook. So it's just, and this is, like I said, this is the best place for Russell Westbrook to go. It was a great place for him to go. But I did not like the way they were using him. But with PG gone now, I think that now you can obviously see that he's getting more of the ball in his hands and he's starting to produce. But even when the ball is not in his hands, Kawhi Leonard, I think, is different than LeBron James in this regard. That the attention on Kawhi Leonard is not as bright as the attention on LeBron. So when Kawhi just says, "Give me the ball," you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna take it. Nobody's gonna be sitting up there thinking about, Kawhi's not gonna feed. The media knows not to ask Kawhi stuff because they know Kawhi is not gonna feed into it. Kawhi is just gonna give the same mundane responses that he always gives. We're just trying to play winning basketball, this, that, and third. And they know Kawhi Leonard is not a good interview. So it's like Kawhi, so he's not going to be asked and he's not going to be put in a position. Westbrook is never going to be a good media guy. And Kawhi Leonard is not a good media guy. So neither one of them is going to give the media the type of stories that they want. So they're just probably just going to be more so apt to just ignore it. But a guy like Russ is just so valuable in the situation. Yes, he's going to have, like he did, where he's had a couple turnovers where you like, what, Russ, you got to slow down. You know what I'm saying? You got to slow down. You can't make these hard decisions going 1,000 miles per hour. You're going to end up just passing it into somebody. Anyways, I don't know what that's something. I just had a brain fart just now. But regardless, please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, comment if you're not comment, and like it if you're not like it, because as I said before, that's really what I wanted to focus on. The Suns, the Western Conference. Eastern Conference is, to me, is just it's a dog shoot. You know what I mean? The Bucks, I've said before, everybody's like, well, the East this, the East that. And I'm like, man, even before Giannis got pulled, you know what I'm saying, they were losing. They were struggling in that game. It's not that I think that the Bucks are not great, but I think the Heat also made it to the finals. And the only difference between the Heat and the Bucks is that the Heat also competed against a good team. The Bucks played the Warriors on a depleted roster because of the salary cap, with two of their top players gone. So they lost KD, and they lost Klay Thompson. They really only had Steph Curry, who is not a great defensive player, and Draymond Green, who's not a great offensive player, and a bunch of league minimum players. I did not expect the Warriors to beat. The Warriors to beat the Bucks. With just Steph Curry. I mean, it's Draymond. It's just too stupid to ask to that. So you don't know what the situation would have been, but I'm sure they would have ended up in the same situation where they would have got mashed in the finals. They struggled against Boston, and then they got beat by Boston last year, and then they didn't have Middleton, but they had him the first couple of games, and they lost games with him. So you got Middleton, and you got you got the Celtics, and now you look at the Celtics, it's like, okay, well, in my opinion, I feel like the Celtics would have beaten them. Regardless, but they lost last year. You know what I mean? And didn't even make it to the finals. And the team that beat them got whopped by the Warriors in the finals. So I just don't really, the East, I just don't really concern myself with, because I really just don't have a lot of respect for how good they is. Meaning, I don't know how good a lot of those teams are, because they play in the East, and in the East they always look good, and then they get in the West. I mean, they get in the finals and they get mollywopped. So, anyways, like I said before, please, I just want to talk about that. Please comment if you and like it if you like it, and please subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.